Okay, so since you guys unexpectedly blew up the Deathclaw video, like I didn't even think that would be an option here. Yeah, we're just gonna why don't we give them a second one, right? I mean everybody loved it. So why not we give them a bit of a longer one? And again, it's going to be a bit more, I guess you say a bit more detailed than that one here. I mean, this is probably a 24 long minute video, but it is what it is here. So everyone's hot, tough tone, sexy beefcake of a Deathclaw is going to be taking on one of the greatest, and I mean most horrific in the greatest way, franchises of all time, Dead Island. But we're not going to do Dead Island 1. We're not going to do Dead Island Riptide. Because, again, I have those saved for the other ones like Jill and I think Chris. I know I got a Jill Valentine one, but, you know, maybe I'll just do for a 2-for-1 for her. So we're going to be putting him through Dead Island 2 instead here. One of the tougher renditions of the game. Actually, one of the more tougher concepts of a zombie apocalypse, in my opinion, when it comes to, well, one being attached to the state of America as a whole here. We're also going to be giving him one of the immune, and, well, we're just going to do a little quick refresher here and add some new stuff to it. So, let's answer the question, right? Could the autophage, the zombie virus, right, could it affect a Deathclaw? And my answer is simply no. Deathclaws are already able to survive radiation. Like, they live in radioactive wastelands and can even be amplified by it. So they're not affected in any negative way by a zombie apocalypse here. Now, as for the tiering of the Deathclaw, I think it should be pretty simple. It's in the small building level ranges, which will actually help it here, especially against the Crushers, who are able to withstand oil tanker explosions. So that actually helps it. And believe it or not, he does this by throwing cars and being able to basically create shock waves enough to splatter the human body. Keep in mind the Deathclaw will also have subsonic reactions here, as they're actually able to dodge gunfire pretty easily, which I think is pretty impressive here. Now, there is supposed to be I guess you could say a scan where, a video where Deathclaws are actually like dodging laser projectiles, but they're also able to tank them as well, even tanking things like RPGs, obviously thousands and upon thousands of rounds here and lasers, and their claws are able to scale buildings. By the way, did you know they could pimp slap a human like a whole? Yeah, I think you guys see the video, right? I mean, dear God, that is a pimp slap on another level. So, that being said here, Deathclaw, small building range in both AP and durability. Excuse me. As for hacks and abilities, none. Again, he's a very simple character, and that's why I love it. And, well, we're going to be throwing him into Hell A itself. Yeah. Los Angeles, the city of freaks and zombies, apparently. And as I said earlier, we're going to give him one of the immune, and we're going to give him Danny. Story's pretty simple. After the whole Resident Evil mansion blows up, he goes to LA for a well-deserved vacation. However, along the way, he manages to hook up with Danny, and then, well, the zombie outbreak just happens. They both manage to sneak their way onto a plane. Well, Danny sneaks her way on. He's able to get on because, again, he's a government agent. So, it is what it is here. By the way, let me know if you guys want to see him go to Arkham Asylum for his next mission. So, yeah, let's talk about it here. Now, first things first, we have to talk about the plane crash. And believe it or not, the fact that some humans were able to survive the plane crash is not impossible, but again, it's very interesting, you know, as everyone boards the plane and how everything goes, how everything happens. And then next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom, they're back in LA, albeit a bit more, stronger than they were before, right? So with that being said here, the first part of this game should really not change one bit here. Now, the first few zombies that Deathclaw is going to encounter along with Danny here are the weakest of the weak. Like, they're weaker than the ones in the original Dead Island. If you don't know what I'm talking about the shamblers. Yeah. So, shamblers are I guess you could say, the end results of a walker. They're like the final stage before they actually kick the bucket, right? So shamblers, believe it or not, are actually so weak, right, that if the player blocks them, or the character you choose blocks them, their arm could break. Like, very simply here. However, they are still pretty durable. But again, they can be one-shotted with absolute ease. So yeah, a Deathclaw, like, especially we're also using like alpha stage, irradiated stages and stuff like that there. Yeah, one simple, you know, pimp slap, yeah, it's over. I mean, the shamblers are just, in all honesty, they're like the worst. And I mean the absolute worst when it comes to like a zombie apocalypse here. Like, remember this pimp slap? Yeah, if he does that to a shambler, pieces are already all over the place. Like, before he even gets out of the air. Okay? And then a whole shockwave, it's not gonna, that thing's not surviving. And I know walkers are here as well, so they're just slightly more durable in this one, and they really don't have anything special like in the original Dead Island where they can actually tank hits. So yeah, they pretty much get through the first chapter pretty easy. Now, believe it or not, the chapter where they're finding Emma, desperately seeking Emma, is the next chapter. Now, this is actually pretty simple and straightforward here because they do not have to go through the mansion. They could go through the mansion as to, loot the place and just, get anything they want out of it here. However, Deathclaw could simply rip open the gates and just carry Danny to Emma's house here. Now, again, they are going to counter walkers this time. A lot more common. And this time they are going to be just a bit more, stronger than the shambler. Now, obviously, with a Deathclaw and a immune human walking in with a bite mark, obviously everything's not going to be just, sunshine and cupcakes and everything. Everything's still going to go the same here. Albeit I could see a situation where the Deathclaw is pretty much grabbing the nanny over here by the throat as she pretty much points a gun at him. And kind of just tells her that, look, it's not going to go well for you if you shoot me or shoot Danny here. Plus, look at that bod. Who would want to shoot something that good? But now we head into where they would explore the area and stuff like that, complete all the missions, and now they're dealing with runners, okay? Now, runners, whether it's a firefighter, and I definitely think that if they start using things like electricity and fire over them, then Deathclaw is going to be taking all that into consideration. So, again, we're going with how he handled Resident Evil, and now that he's learned from that experience, he's now going to apply it here, okay? So, with that being said here, they would get through everything pretty easy. Next thing we have to do is go to the hotel. Now, I'm going to have Danny go to the hotel first because along the way, or at least going back from the hotel, you start seeing more of these kind of zombies, and those are crushers. Now, crushers, believe it or not, are capable of, I think the crushers are definitely going to be capable of damaging a Deathclaw, even our Deathclaw here. But the thing is, crushers are not hard to figure out here. They can be dismantled as any other zombie. However, their muscle structure is just impressive when it comes to a zombie. Zombies are known for their decay. Crushers show very little signs of that. As a matter of fact, they show more enhancements when it comes to a zombie than anything. So how would the Deathclaw honestly deal with these guys? Well, one or two things here. Because he has, literal claws, for crying out loud here, and he hits a whole lot harder, hits a whole lot more viciously, I should say. I don't think he hits, but actually, nah, he actually would hit harder. What am I talking about? His claws would actually just make his striking a lot more vicious, is what I'm trying to say here. So basically, he could actually slice them up, and I think after seeing the crusher, he's definitely taking one and dissecting it. So this means that the whole padding thing is just not needed. Plus, he is lifting people who wear this, kind of armor, the Fallout armor or whatever, the Spartan armor, excuse me. And, I don't see too much changing. I could definitely see a comedic moment where he sees the Caustic X pool, and, Danny says she's been here, but he hasn't. So I could actually see a funny moment where he, grabs a zombie, or it grabs an infected that's just running at him, like has it by the legs and just like dips it in the pool just to see what it does. And funny thing is, Deathclaws are pretty hilarious and even adorable in a way when they're actually curious about things. So, yeah, everything goes well, but now they have to go back and find Michael. Now, this one, they're just gonna do flat out together. No division, no, they're going around doing their own little thing for the moment. Yeah, they're gonna go through this one together. And again, I could probably see Deathclaw paying a bit more attention to the zombies. As again, the player does it, but the player doesn't take the time to analyze it until they get to Patton. The Deathclaw, or our Deathclaw here, with his prior experience in the Resident Evil mansion, is going to be taking notes of that. Keep in mind, this is where we're going to start seeing more shocking walkers. So him taking his time and analyzing the situation, of course he's going to, kill them as well. And again, shocking runners, which I think make absolutely no sense, but it is what it is here. He's going to see that the virus seems to be growing in some sort of way. But this is also where we're going to see the infected swarmers as well, which he's going to no diff absolutely. All you really have to do is target the hive on his side here, which again shows very advanced warfare for a zombie apocalypse here. And in all honesty, I could see him taking advantage of like zombies with like flamethrower canisters on their back and just like slashing at the oil, throwing them at another zombie, and then striking the ground so hard that he creates like sparks with his claws, and that just sets it all on fire. So in all honesty, he's no diffing these zombies so far. The only ones that are giving him trouble are crushers and infected. And keep in mind, the infected dash the runners here. The runners in Dead Island 2 are capable of dodging your attacks, so this would definitely make them a bit more intelligent. And again, I could see the Deathclaw noting this, telling this to Danny. Danny now starts considering everything that's going on here, giving her little Deathclaw boo a kiss on the cheek for his hard work. So again, if he's not eating zombies, he's just simply tearing them in half. So with that being said here, thanks to all of his prior experiences with the last game or the last scenario we put him through, he is actually going to be a MVP in this one. As a matter of fact, he is the MVP. What am I talking about, right? He's immune to the virus, and he's basically just dominating the zombies here forth. But now let's get back to when they find Michael. Believe it or not, this is where the story actually does change a bit. Now again, him getting sprayed with a whole fire hydrant wouldn't affect him here, but it would serve for great comedy. By the way, they don't really need to take a whole long way around to get to the movie theater. They're kind of just ripping doors off at this point, or at least the Deathclaw is. Again, just getting through the area, but it's very possible he could just have Danny go on his back and just climb a building, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But again, this is where we start seeing crushers, some inferno runners and stuff like that there. And now on to our first slobberer or bloater, whichever one you want to call it. And I think it's Alexis? Something like that. I don't know. The Alexis something. I'm just going to call it the slobber, the first slobber or whatever. So, believe it or not, this is going to be a very easy one. I mean, he can dodge bullets from automatic rifles and Gatling guns. So, yeah, a slobber spitting around or, spitting this caustic X-like acid, which makes them more effective than the bloaters on Benoit here. But, yeah, them doing that and him just killing it would be easy. However, when the two separate here, he's going to make sure Michael gets back home. However, I'm quoting it, by the way, since y'all can't see it here. Danny's going to go on to meet Sam and I think Carl at the Screamer's house, to which she is going to have to report that eventually when she gets back here. However, Deathclaw is going to kill Michael early. You see, Michael gets bitten. We don't know when he got bitten, but he got bit and yet still made his way back to Emma's place, right? So, with that being said here, I could actually see a moment where the Deathclaw is escorting him to his final resting place rather than, having him get back, and this whole situation just happens here. So I can see him kind of like leading him astray here, and then it's one or two ways it could happen. He could either just obliterate his body right then and there, or he could just make it to where he just locks him away and has him turn. That way he just doesn't have to worry about him. But it's very possible he does kill him and he brings the trophy back to Emma. He meets Danny there, and the whole situation still happens. I definitely see Danny scolding him for this because, again, they could have at least, been in on the know of the whole situation here. However, they both still get kicked out of Emma's place here, and now they're on their way to Santa Monica. So yeah, that pretty much just goes how it goes in the original story. Except, well, they do run into the exploders. Yeah, yeah, or the blasters or whatever, or the suiciders, whichever one you want to call them, excuse me. And this is where they do meet Patton. They feel bad for him, and they do get their way to, not Santa Monica Studios, the beach here. But let's talk about these zombies, right? These zombies actually carry a explosive form of caustic X. And this would be interesting. I don't really see a way for Deathclaw to like get a hold of one and be able to like dissect it. But maybe finding an already dead one and trying to like maybe like surgically cut it open, or maybe analyzing the skeletal remains of the specific zombie. Either way, he's no diffing it, albeit it's definitely going to require him to like yeet the thing like quite easily, like pin slap it, and then it just goes. So with that being said here, and oh shoot, they're called bursters. I'm sorry, y'all. So with that being said here, they move on and they make their way to the beach. However, I do think they stop at the Blue Crab. I would be a little hungry after treading through the sewers. By the way, Danny does go berserk here, and Deathclaw witnesses it because, again, he can't really like get to her at the moment. So he kind of gets in there a bit later because of I would probably say because he was doing something else. Let's say he was doing the seismic reader mission, and when he caught up to Danny, she was in full-blown bloodlust mode. So when they get to the beach and everything, they discuss it. They're calm, or Danny's at least calmer. And they actually run into a fire slobberer. Yeah, crazy, right? He's definitely killing it and definitely dissecting this to see what the heck is going on here. They also run into their more inferno crusher. So that happens. They also go to the Blue Crab to get some, fine wine and dine here. I mean, free seafood. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? So with that being said here, yeah, they basically clear the beach a lot easier here. I mean, a whole Deathclaw is just walking through this game like it's absolutely nothing. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to up the ante next time and give him something a bit more difficult, am I right? So then they go through the Death Gauntlet, which is them pretty much just pushing through a whole army of zombies just to get to, I guess you could say, the more inner city area, right? And believe it or not, yeah, they would get through this a whole lot easier. Danny probably using her rampage powers here, and believe it or not, I could probably see a moment where Deathclaw kind of just like lines up these zombies for a minute when they're going down like that alleyway during the whole Death Gauntlet or whatever, and he just rams them full on Triceratops style, like just bulldozes through them. So they make their way to the Haplin Hotel, or the mall, excuse me. They make their way to the mall, which, believe it or not, I kind of find that a very interesting place to survive. So I guess I might have to talk about that in a Wave 8 survival video. By the way, Wave 8 survival is going to be 30 videos long, by the way. So with that being said here, they go through all that. They make their way to the testing facilities that were on the beach. And believe it or not, I can definitely see Deathclaw taking notes along with Danny here, and they would actually be analyzing each and every study board for each creature, even going through a screamer, to which I think would be the biggest detriment to the Deathclaw because of his higher, I guess you could say, his higher senses. So he would be a bit more sensitive to the screamer shrieking, excuse me. So with that being said here, they're no different. Every zombie, with exception of, crushers, shriekers, and or screamers, excuse me, and just everything else here. However, the Butcher or Butcher the Clown is definitely going to be on the Deathclaw's radar. As a matter of fact, I could actually see him going ahead and hunting down Butcher in this situation here. Now, the reason why I say that is because seeing that massive amount of corpses, it definitely does leave the player with a sense of, okay, something else is here, Like, there's something different here. And it's like, okay, we understand that this is a butcher. Like, there's no ifs and buts about it, right? But again, from the player's perspective, and then from Deathclaw's perspective, this is something far more dangerous, and maybe Danny can't handle it. And again, these are the toughest zombies in the game. So what I actually see is happening is, while Danny goes through that, and goes through the whole carnival thing, or the Ferris wheel, escapade or whatever, he's hunting down Butcho. And when he finally gets a hold of Butcho, it's a wrap. Like, it could be a little bit of a challenge maybe. He has to actually be able to hit him and stuff here. But then again, he gets it, kills it, and it's just done after that. Then fast forward, going through all that, killing more butchers, more zombies, more, deadlier creatures. They find their first mutator. And this is where I could actually see the Deathclaw, or our Deathclaw here, being enraged here. Okay? Fighting a mutator. And I mean, mutators are definitely way tougher than, they are basically the wrestlers of the Dead Island, Dead Island 2 franchises here. And I hope they bring those guys back, because that would be way more interesting than the Crushers, all right? And believe it or not, I think after putting multiple things together, right? After putting 2 and 2 together, Conrad, Dr. Rubin, everything that's happening here, we would see an enraged Deathclaw. I don't know how that would actually look. That would actually be kind of frightening in my opinion. Like an actual Deathclaw going to a bloodlust state? Nah, I would be running for my life here. And this would be the point where everything goes the same, except it would probably be a lot more slaughter against the zombies. Like, it would basically be like a whole blood field. Okay, the mall would actually be cleared of zombies after that. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, a whole bloodlust of Deathclaw just gets clear here. And believe it or not, I could see them already going to Hollywood, all right, figuring out that Ruben's daughter is the cure. And it's very possible that the Deathclaw just knocks her out and just kind of keeps her captive while the whole thing happens. And then you have the whole Rubinator boss fight and have all these walkers and stuff pop in here. Yeah, everything pretty much goes the same here, except it's very possible we get a more enraged Deathclaw at this point, just tearing into Ruben far more than Danny. After Danny passes out here, we would definitely see the whole end of Dead Island play out here. Except there is a little bit of a difference. It's very possible that, again, I think Charlie is her name, or again, Ruben's daughter, just simply didn't escape. Because again, Deathclaw knocked her out, and he would probably, jump down for a bit, help out Danny, and then just leave. Then the end results of the game, they just go ahead and just start killing more zombies. And I mean, at the end of it here, I could probably see Danny and Deathclaw here maybe finding more immune, finding the rest of the Dead Island cast here. Because again, they are confirmed to be interacting with each other during the game, and definitely during some concept art or promotional material during the game. However, for the Deathclaw, I would probably have him go on his own way for a little bit until he is found by Chris Redfield and says that they have another mission for him. So that's where I would leave it off here. Now, could the Deathclaw actually clear Dead Island? Yes. And I would actually have to say he does it with mid difficulty at best. The different zombies adapting and everything here, and it's very possible, and this is probably the scary part about it, we might see a zombie breed specifically designed to fight against him. However, thanks to the sheer fact that we're giving him his intelligence from the previous video and how he operates from the previous video, this would give him an advantage over anything that's meant to actually fight him. However, again, it's very possible that the zombies could get tougher and a new zombie breed could be created just to fight Deathclaws, making it a whole lot more deadlier than before. But that's me off today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.